Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to review Festival Minnie from the Mickey and Friends series. I'm also going to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I use when I'm using this Tsum as well. The drop rates for Festival Minnie is 43.75% if you have all the Tsums unlocked with the exception of the Tsums from this month. Festival Minnie's ability description is only 2 types of Tsums appear for a short time. So let's take a look at her stats. In order for you to activate her ability, you're going to need to clear a total of 23 copies of Festival Minis off the screen. And this is considered on the average range. It's not too high and it's not too low either. It's right there on the sweet spot of not too high, not too low. The minimum score is 170 with a maximum score of 905. So unfortunately, Festival Minnie is not going to be a Tsum that you'll be using to get a high score. And if you do want to get Festival Minnie to skill level 6, you're going to need to get a total of 32 copies of her. Not too bad. 32 I would say is on the average towards on the lower end. So 32 is not too bad. And Festival Minnie has one component to her ability, and that's how long the ability is going to last. And this is actually pretty significant. At skill level 1, the ability time will last a total of 3.5 seconds, and every single time you level up Festival Minnie's ability, she will get additional 0.5 second. So it starts off at 3.5 seconds at skill level 1 all the way up to skill level 6 at 6 seconds. And if you're able to get Festival Minnie to skill level 6, you should be able to make more chains during her ability time. Now before I go any further, if you guys are enjoying this type of content where I review Tsums, do monthly leaks, go over the selection boxes and pickup capsule, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your subscription really helps me out a lot. I also have a Discord server, so if you're looking for a community of players who also plays this game, or if you need help with the game, consider scanning this QR code on the screen to join my Discord server. I will also have invite links in the video description down below, so check that out if you can't scan this code on the screen. The invite link should take you directly to my Discord server. Alright, so let's take a look at all 6 of the skill level for Festival Minnie, starting with skill level 1, 2, and 3. At skill level 1, the ability time is going to last 3.5 seconds. Skill level 2, it's going to last 4.5 seconds. And then finally, at skill level 3, it's going to last 4.5 seconds. One of the biggest tip I have for you when you're using Festival Minnie is make sure you are using the overcharge effect. You want to be pressing the ability button once you're seeing that Festival Minnie is about to be full. When you're using the overcharge, what ends up happening is any additional Tsum that you end up clearing will go into the next charge up. So instead of clearing a total of 23, you may only need 20 or even 19 or something even lower, depending on how long your chain is. And then my second tip that I have for you is once you activate the ability, don't try to make the longest chain during the ability time. It's actually better if you're able to make more short chains than making fewer longer chains. And the reason for that is whenever you make a smaller chain, you're actually going to make a bubble as well. Regardless of how small your chain is, you're always going to make a bubble in this case. And even if you make a chain of 3 only, that's going to pop surrounding bubbles. And that gets you anywhere between 9 to 11, which is a sweet spot for a time bubble. So in actuality, making shorter chains might be the way to go, but if you are able to spot a really long chain, that might also be good because you'll be able to get more coins that way. But if you are not a player that could spot a really long chain like myself, because I do end up playing with my thumb most of the time, you will not be able to make the longest chain possible. So you might have to resort to making smaller chains, and if you are going to make smaller chains, you might actually want to just chain 3 Festival Minnie because you have a higher chance of making a time bubble. Now the next thing I want to show you guys is a side-by-side comparison of the abilities activated at the same time. Now unfortunately, Festival Minnie is hard to compare, so it's not going to be as exciting, but regardless, I want to slow this down and walk you through exactly what I am doing here. So as you see here, you don't have to set up the screen, you just activate the ability as quickly as possible. And as you see there at skill level 3, I was able to make a really long chain, and I was able to get a decent amount of coins from that one clear alone. But because it took a really long time for the Tsums to completely clear, my ability ended relatively quickly. So that's another trade-off that you have to consider, is that if you are able to make a really long chain, you would try to clear another chain while that first animation gets through. So you want to be able to play very quickly and spot those chains. Festival Minnie is one of those Tsums that you need to play very quickly to be effective. Moving on to skill level 4, 5, and 6. At these higher skill level, you should be able to make more chains per game, because at skill level 4, your ability time is going to last 5 seconds. At skill level 5, it's going to last 5.5 seconds. And at skill level 6, you're going to get a total of 6 seconds. And the strategy remains the same at these higher skill level. But one of the tips that I didn't cover during the lower skill level is the magic bubble. Now with the magic bubble, you want to avoid using them during the ability time, because during the ability time, you should really be focusing on making long chains or trying to make time bubbles or just any bubbles in general. And then after the ability time is over, that's when you want to start bursting those bubbles. And there's a sequence that you want to follow. Try to burst bubbles that are higher up top and then work your way down. And if you can work from left and then right and alternate that sequence, it is the best option for being the most effective. Now the reason why you want to work from top to bottom is you want to avoid the bubbles falling down. You want to have the bubbles be surrounded by Tsums to maximize the chain earning potential. So that's why you want to work from top down. And the reason why you want to go from left to right and alternating the sides is you want to avoid having two bubbles burst next to each other at once. Because when that happens, it also lowers the amount of chain possible. Now let's take a look at a side-by-side comparison of the abilities activated at the same time at these higher skill level. Now the animation is going to remain the same, but at these higher skill level, I ended up adopting going quicker versus trying to make the longer chain. And here it is in slow motion. You'll be able to see that I'm able to make chain quicker, and that was my main focus at these higher skill level. I tried to make longer chains at the lower skill level, and I noticed that that wasn't very effective. And at these higher skill level, I opted to go for speed versus accuracy. Of course, if you could do both, even better, but like I mentioned earlier, I play with my thumb, so accuracy is not necessarily the best for me. So it really depends on your playstyle. If you are someone that could play really fast, then Festival Minnie is actually a really good Tsum for you. So overall, Festival Minnie can be a really effective Tsum, and that kind of goes back to what I was just talking about. It really depends on your playstyle. If you are someone who could play extremely fast, then Festival Minnie can earn you a lot of coins. But if you are someone that generally plays a little bit slower like myself, then Festival Minnie is not going to be as effective, but could still be a decent coin earner. Especially if you need a bubble maker, Festival Minnie is really awesome. Because you're able to make long chains, depending on what bubble you're going for, you just need to time those perfectly and you'll be able to get a lot of magic bubbles. And keep in mind, during the ability time, all the Tsums do shrink, and it does burst surrounding Tsums as well. So it's not only about how long your chain is, but it's also about if there's any Tsums touching the chain that you're currently making. So let me show you the results for all 6 of these gameplays. At skill level 1, I ended up with 1,110 coins, which is not too amazing. And if you are trying to use Festival Minnie as a coin earner, you're going to need to get her to either skill level 5 or skill level 6. Now this will depend if you are a fast player or not, and by fast player I mean someone that can make chains really quickly. Usually if you use a stylus or any kind of little pen for your device, you're typically easier to make longer chains. So if you are playing with a stylus, then this could be a Tsum for you. Like I mentioned earlier, I play with my thumb, so my accuracy is not that great. Therefore my coin counts were a little bit lower. So if you are someone who could play fast, you definitely can earn a lot more coins than you see here, and also get a higher score as well. So that's my review of Festival Minnie. I hope that you guys found this video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you'd like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.